Which of the four has worn clothes that their political party has spent $150,000 on?
Palin, Sarah Palin.
Which has a pregnant teenage daughter?
Sarah Palin.
Which has a pregnant teenage daughter?
Sarah Palin.
Which of the four has a pregnant teenage daughter?
Palin.
Which of the four wore clothes that their party spent $150,000 on?
Palin.
Which of the four wore clothes that their party spent $150,000 on?
I know that was Palin. They made a big deal about that. But you gotta look pretty, right?
Which of the four has a pregnant teenage daughter?
That was Palin.
Which of the candidates has a pregnant teenage daughter?
The Soviet Union, the KGB, the Trotskyites, communism, Marxism created what we call the civil rights movement because they targeted black people. They wanted to create racial tension in much the same way as the mullahs in Iran sent people into Iraq to create division between the various sects.
By the end of my training in school, I was recruited by the KGB. This picture was taken on that day, and you can see again how happy it feels to be recruited by the KGB. Pay special attention to the number of bottles on the table. One of my functions was to keep foreign guests permanently intoxicated the moment they land at Moscow airport. In 1967, the KGB attached me to this magazine, Look magazine. A group of 12 people arrived to USSR from the United States to cover the 50th anniversary of October Socialist Revolution in my country. From the first page to the last page, it was a package of lies.
This same communist menace never went away. It only submerged. It called a ceasefire. It declared perestroika, glasnost, which means transparency. We're transparent and we're restructuring. We have given up communism. That was a lie. They have called perestroikas, plural, repeatedly in the past, just as the Palestinians call a ceasefire when their asses are being kicked by the Israelis. And pressure is put upon the Israelis to let the Palestinians go, to let them retreat, so that they can rebuild, regroup, prepare another assault, which does inevitably come.
And he'll tell us a little bit about how they did this and how they planted information which eventually wound up in the press of the free world. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Mr. Bezmenov, I'd like to begin by having you tell us a little bit about some of your childhood memories.
Well, the most vivid memory of my childhood was Second World War, or to be more precise, the end of the Second World War, when all of a sudden United States, from a friendly nation, which helped us to defeat Nazism, turned overnight into a deadly enemy. And it was very shocking because all newspapers were trying to present an image of belligerent, aggressive American imperialism. Most of the things that we were taught is that the United States is aggressive power, which is just about to invade our beautiful, free socialist country, that American CIA is dropping Colorado beetles on our beautiful potato fields to eliminate our crops, and each schoolboy had a picture of Colorado bug on the back page of his notebook. And we were instructed to go into collective fields to search for those little Colorado bugs. Of course, we couldn't find any. Neither we could find many potatoes.
This is the true meaning of perestroika. Recently, a Russian warship sailed into a harbor in Cuba.
The American paranoia, hysteria in the Soviet propaganda was to such of such a higher degree that many less skeptical people or less stubborn would really believe that the United States is just about to invade our beautiful motherland, and some secretly hope that it will come true.
I know that the Russians are rearming very fast, They are building warships and atomic-powered submarines which launch sophisticated missiles capable of penetrating all known missile defense systems. The media doesn't tell you these things. I know that the media doesn't tell these things. That's why I pay attention to the facts. That's why I ignore, for the most part, the media. The media in the United States and the West sucks. Make no mistake about that. You cannot count on them to tell you the truth. I illustrate that with these quotes from people who were interviewed who had voted for Obama. And I will try to provide a link to the clip on YouTube showing the answers given by these Obama voters, showing you how not only ignorant they were, but they had been brainwashed by the media. The chart that you see is a temperature chart of the Earth over a long, long period of time. I believe it was compiled by using ocean bottom sediments. It was definitely not compiled using ice core sediments because ice only existed during these cold periods. On the far right, you see the present ice age, which grips the Earth today.
My main motivations to defect had nothing to do with affluence. It was mainly moral indignation, moral protest, rebellion against the inhuman methods of the Soviet system.
Well, specifically, what did you object to?
I objected, first of all, against oppression of my own dissidents and intellectuals. And that was the most disgusting thing that I witnessed as a young man, young student, who was brought up a very troublesome period in our history, from Stalin to Khrushchev, from total tyranny and oppression to some kind of liberalization. Second, when I started working for the Soviet embassy in India, to my horror, I discovered that we are millions times more oppressive than any colonial or imperialist power in the history of mankind.